live right now as we speak. I'm Johnny. This is the Greg. This is our podcast. Wow, you guys are listening to Greg talk about our partner with Audible. You can like, subscribe, share. That really helps us out. Get to it, Greg.
Appease the algorithm gods, and
Yes.
you know, any interaction that you have on our live stream here, if you're chatting with us, if you like us, if you share it, all of that just ups the algorithm to notice us, and maybe have some other people that might be interested in what we listen to. We'll just, you know, pop up on their page, and then it'll be like, do you want to listen to these guys? And maybe they say, you know what, I do want to listen to those guys. And maybe it's because they're interested in our partnership with Audible.
Nice.
Where you can get hundreds of thousands of audiobooks from Audible. It's great. I use it almost daily. Honestly, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm reading books. It's great if you're like me and you're dyslexic, and it's not that I can't get through a book. I just don't get through a book very fast. And in today's life where, you know, you put in a full day at work and it's like, hey, I'm going to pick up a book for a while. That's torture for my brain. So I just like to listen. I love the dramatization. I love when they've got a great reader, and they've got every book and every genre I could ever want. If I'm looking for nonfiction, it's there. If I'm looking for my World War II history, it's there. If I'm looking for fantasy, I want some wizards and dragons, it's there. If I'm looking for science fiction with spaceships and lasers, it's there. They got everything.
Do they do comic books?
They don't do comic books because that's more of a visual thing, and this is like an audiobook. So
makes sense. Okay.
So they're a great resource. There are I know one of my favorite artists, Jim Butcher, wrote a Spider-Man novel that's on there, and it's fantastic. So with that, if you would like 30 days of Audible for free, you can do that by going to audibletrial.com/JATG. You sign up. There's it's a subscription for a month. You get that on us. You can cancel at any time. And the great thing about Audible is that if you buy some books on there, they're yours to keep, whether you keep up your subscription or not. Audible lets you keep the books that you purchase. They're yours forevermore. So if you want to give that a shot, you can go to audibletrial.com/JATG.
As always, thank you very much, Greg. You're getting better and better and better at that. What's on the agenda tonight? Well, there's a funny thing on the air right now. It's called the Oscars. So if you guys are tuning in to listen to us instead of watching the Oscars, thank you very much. That's awesome. Yeah. Also on the agenda, a deleted scene for the Batman shot out on YouTube. Yep. We're going to discuss that, and then that's probably what we're going to sew up today. It's not going to be a very long podcast today.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the Oscars, Greg.
Yeah, they're on right now, and I'm setting up. My family's watching in the front room. It's interesting because for a long time I did not care about the Oscars. I mean, I loved it when I was young. I remember going to Oscar parties. We had all of our ballots. We were keeping track. It was
really, you did all that?
Oh yeah, we had a blast, especially when I was working at the video store. I mean, that was a big thing for us to do. We tried to keep track of it, and maintain that, like, even through college, even like early parts of my marriage. So like mid-20s, we were trying to do like Oscar night stuff with some of our friends. It's a little bit like the Super Bowl in that it's a Sunday night. Everybody's got to work tomorrow.
So everybody's home. Home.
Yep. It was more comfortable to start watching at home. And so we did, but then it got to the point where like there wasn't enough how do you say this? Like
familiar?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of like kind of artsy films, which there's nothing wrong with those. I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of those, but just even finding a theater that would play some of them was tough. And then there was like, COVID happened and it shut them down. But then there was also the look of, it was very racially and gender one-sided. Like it wasn't very inclusive at all. And because the Oscars, if you don't know, it's a club. It is a paid for club. It is the Screen Actor I mean, it's you have to
Screen
be,
Actors Guild.
or it's
Yeah.
the Academy. I'm sorry, it's the Academy.
You're right. You're right.
And you pay for membership in the Academy. You become a voting member if you meet certain standards, one of which is just membership. And like it didn't seem right. And so
Yeah.
they've done really a good job, I think, of fixing that. So
I'm with you. My mother was a huge fan of the Oscars. She would throw parties, and everybody would get to go home with a little Oscar after the party.
Yep.
And I remember all of that. My mom would actually dress up. She'd actually have a red carpet going down to the TV, so everybody could do their red carpet walk and things like that. She did a really good job like that. And so to me, it was always a big deal up until college. And then after college, I just didn't care, because you're right. It started getting to these movies where it was artsy, and it's nothing that, and look, I'm a dumb Middle West guy. I like action movies and sci-fi movies. And if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know the type of movies we like. And those were never in the Oscars. It was always like Jane Eyre or Mozart, which was actually a pretty good movie. The one Amadeus Mozart, or was it called
from
Amadeus?
the 80s? Amadeus? Yeah, that's a great film.
Yeah. But it was those movies that when you're in high school and you're in college, you're not going to watch those.
It was a great year. This was probably early 2000s that I watched Chris Rock. He hosted the Oscars one year. And he went around and he was doing he went to one of these megaplexes in Hollywood where it's like 50 screens kind of deal.
Yeah.
And went around and asked the average person, of course, it was one of those years, a lot of art films were nominated, a lot of just high cinema kind of films. And he's grabbing people some random dude waiting in line for his popcorn. He's like, hey, I want to ask you, you know what the Oscars are? And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, okay, what was your favorite movie from last year? Like what? Well, even better. He's like, what was your absolute favorite? The film, and you went, that was the best film I saw last year. And the guy's like, Aliens versus Predator. He's like, Aliens versus
Predator.
That was the best film you saw last year. Best film. He's like, yeah, man, it was fantastic. And the guy just went off and gave a pretty honest everyman review of Aliens versus Predator.
Yeah.
He's like, I love that film. I will watch it all the time. He's like, okay, what about, and I think it was My Trambia was one of the, what about My Trambia? Did you see the one? He's like, never heard of it. I mean, it was just kind of so proving some of these Oscar films are, it is a pat yourself on the back kind of club.
That's where I checked out when I realized that it was the Kardashians used to do this thing. I don't know if they do it anymore, but I do know they did it for a while where they would have a Kardashian Christmas. And what that was you get to watch them open up the gifts they get for each other.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's
a little bit like what the Oscars are.
Yeah. And I felt like this is the Oscars. It's about sucking up to the people in the room and you get your Oscar. And I thought, oh no, the People's Choice, or the one that I loved was the MTV Movie Awards. I loved it. I thought they had great, even best fight scene.
Yeah, because those are the categories that the everyman cares about.
Yeah. They even had weird ones like best kiss, which I was like, oh, cool. Who got best kiss?
I was always interested in the MTV Movie Awards, and I was always real interested in the People's Choice Awards because it's the same thing.
Yes, it is.
What are the people liking? What are they voting for? What do they like? And but so that being said, this year I was actually a little bit more interested in it because
can you find find best movie? Can you find what those are?
I'll get to that. But right now, Troy Koster won for best supporting actor from Coda, and we've talked about that.
Okay, yes, we have. Okay.
And he is an actor who is deaf who did a fantastic job in the film, and he won best supporting actor. That I think that's a big deal.
That is a big deal. Yeah.
Encanto wins for animated feature. We can talk about that. I'm actually a little not happy about that.
Who were the other people that were in?
It was
the Mitchells.
The article I'm looking at doesn't have it, but yeah, there was one called Flea, which was I believe it's Bosnia, about a boy fleeing war-torn Bosnia, animated feature. Mitchell's versus the Machines, Encanto, Raya and the Last Dragon, another great film. I think that was it. I think they only had 4.
Okay.
But the presenters were like, and we all remember like the animated cartoons as we go up and like when we're kids. And I'm like, and this is me as your non-typical American saying that animation is not purely kids features.
Correct.
And granted, that's what most of the nominations were. But again, we're ignorant Americans, where it's like the rest of the world has embraced animation as an art form or as a serious cinematic event. And Americans are just like, if it's animated, it's for kids, right? No, it's not. And you need to get that through your head.
Do you feel that's still going on? Because I feel like
it's starting to shift slightly.
Yeah, I feel that too. Yeah.
Even Ryan the Last Dragon and Mitchell's versus the Machines dealt with some heavier content. And so did Encanto. Encanto is like a journey through like a whole family of psychosis that can come out of family things.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, that grandmother, I've got a name for her that I probably shouldn't say.
Not a nice lady.
She's not a nice lady.
No,
and
she's not.
Like at the end where it's like, hey, we're all family again. I'm like, no, Granny's got some shit she got to work out. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. So Ariana DeBose, she won for Best Supporting Actress for West Side Story.
West Side Story. Okay.
Which is cool. I think that's good. I did not see the opening monologue, and this article does not have the full list of nominees. So
okay. So
best picture, I will say, is they expanded it. They expanded the list. It used to be just a certain number of films. I think it was 6. And they said, we're going to expand that list so that we can include more of the films that people actually go see. So the list for best film is Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, which is a Netflix film, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, Power of a Dog, and West Side Story.
Nightmare Alley? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wasn't the movie I thought it was going to be. I don't think it was a bad film, but not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that I would agree with you. I don't know. Anytime I hear of Del Toro, I get excited because I feel like he takes you into such a unique, it's almost like he has a very unique flavor when he directs, much like Tim Burton. Yeah. And it's very much you are part of a unique world, even the lighting and the shade and all of that.
Usually like a supernatural
element. I get
like
really
something
excited.
Out of the norm. Like he won Best Picture and Best Director for
The Water of the Monster
Color of Water, I think was the name of it.
I think you're right.
And yeah, there was a amphibian man, more or less, and it's a love story. Which sounds weird sentence, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a great film. And I kept waiting for something like that to happen in Nightmare Alley.
Right.
Some kind of supernatural, because the look of the film, the aura of the film was all very much
even
like that.
Even the trailer made me think, oh, there's a lot of supernatural occult stuff going on here or something.
You're right. And that's not it. No, I mean, I was shocked that it wasn't, so it made the film a little bit more enjoyable for me. But in the end, you're like, huh.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So, but I mean, out of, let's see, the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 films, I have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've seen 6 of them. So I was actually kind of shocked that I had seen that many, like over half of the nominated films.
Okay. So, are you finding yourself watching more films now than you did raising your?
Yeah, because we're through those years where you didn't go to the movie theater a whole lot because you were at home with the kids and you didn't want to pay for the babysitter, or you had to be very choosy about the films that you went and saw.
Right.
And so we're in this kind of perfect storm right now where my kids want to see a lot of the films that are out there. And there's a movie theater close by me that is budget friendly. So we can all go to the movies and have a good time.
Yeah.
And we can see stuff that he gets. And sometimes he gets it a little late. Sometimes it's, not quite the newest release. He's got to wait a couple weeks, but that's fine. I have no problem with that. And we'll wait and we'll go see it then.
Yeah.
But even like, Don't Look Up, that was a Netflix film. So
what's that about? I don't recall it.
Don't Look Up is a film where scientists have discovered the asteroid headed straight for Earth, and it's a planet killer. It is an absolute planet killer, and no one believes them.
Yeah,
and
nobody believes
them. The government, they tell them, and they're like, but wait, there's a bunch of rare minerals on that asteroid. We want to mine those.
Yeah.
And make money off it. And the scientists are like, you can't do that. This is a planet killer. You need to try to find a way to destroy it. They're like, no, we don't want to destroy it. We want to use it.
Yeah.
So it's it's almost satire, but you're kind of like, no, that's
probably how we'd handle it.
Yep.
Probably how we handle it.
I mean, there was just last week, NASA said, yeah, we found an asteroid that was headed straight for Earth, or that not headed straight for it. It missed us by, whatever the NASA version is by a close margin, which could be millions of miles off. But they're like, we didn't see it until 2 hours before. So, I mean, if an asteroid's going to hit the Earth, I think it's going to be like that. They're going to be like,
yeah, we got 2 hours, seek shelter. Yeah.
Yep.
Or they won't tell anybody.
Nope. It's going to be, this is going to happen. Everybody's going to die. We can do nothing about it. Let people enjoy their lives for the last couple of minutes. So it's just going to be, that's it.
Yeah. What I've heard a very scary, like we're overdue, like in terms of, I guess, like
cataclysmic event.
Yeah. Like we're overdue. Like it can happen at any time now. Sounds like Putin's trying to take us there, but
speed up the clock, I guess.
Yeah, speed up the clock. We don't deserve a second reset.
I did see some of the more technical awards that go out, like best sound and best cinematography, and all of that is going to Dune.
Good.
So
yeah. My Ursula, my wife, has I call it an annoying habit. I'm sorry, it is. It's an annoying habit. Anytime anything is remotely Oscar nominated, we have to watch it. And half the time I just want to claw my eyes out, and I can't stand, like we had to watch Moonlight and I couldn't stand Moonlight. I'm like, oh my God, I don't care.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's just me. I know there's some people that thought it was a breakthrough in lighting and whatever. I'm sure the people like Darren Hafford and you who look at film, who can look at film in very multiple different ways. Like the movie sucked, but wow, it was shot well. Or the movie, the movie wasn't good, but the soundtrack was on point or something like that. You guys can break that down to a point where if I don't walk away enjoying myself or feeling touched, I guess you could say, because there are some movies I've walked away feeling depressed, but basically what I'm saying, if I don't feel touched by a movie, I don't give a shit.
Right. And about any aspect of it.
About any aspect. Yeah. About any aspect of it. I guess if you were to sit me down and say, look at this compared to this, I could go, oh, okay. Yeah. I could see where you'd like that. But she was breaking them down today. So today she was watching West Side Story. And I'm like, I've seen that. I've been in the play. I don't need to see it anymore. I'm sure Steven Spielberg did a terrific job because the way he films movies, I really appreciate. So I'm like, I'm sure everything's going to look great. But I don't need to see that movie. I don't need to see that movie. So she watched it and she's like, wow, did you know it was really racist? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's yes.
It's kind of that's the kind of a big point of the entire film.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bunch of white kids trying to kill a bunch of Puerto Rican kids in the city.
And vice versa. Like, yeah. It's just funny when stuff like that comes up with her. But so bottom line, she was telling me, hey, Dune's nominated. You liked Dune. It's nominated. I'm like, okay, that's good. She goes, you want to watch it again? I'm like, no, I don't need to. I want to see the sequel. I'm into the sequel. I want to see that.
I think I watch Dune once a month.
Oh, really? The new one?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not watching the old one.
Is there any new things that you found, or you're like, oh, okay, now I get the complete story? But you've been like,
yeah. I mean, I've read the book
Yeah.
I think twice now. So no, nothing new, but I don't know. I just for a lot of the reasons I like it are the reasons it's winning, like the best sound design and film editing. I was really impressed with how they edited that film together. I mean, there's best special effects. I mean, there's a
I
lot of
really
things
enjoyed it.
there.
And if I think about Dune, which is so weird, I don't feel like anything really happened, but things happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really weird to say. I felt like there wasn't a lot going on, but there was a lot going on.
Because there's not a lot of action pieces.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, there's a lot of political intrigue going on, and like you're tracking through that intrigue.
Yeah.
The next film should have some more action to it.
I've heard, yeah.
But we'll see how that plays out. Like is Denis Villeneuve is the director, and we'll see how he's going to plan all that out.
Yeah, we're gonna have him on next week. Just kidding.
Yeah, I wish that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
But it was interesting talking because it won for best special effects, and talking with the kids. And I'm trying to find best visual effects. So it was Dune. The nominees were Dune, Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, and Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh, good for them.
So
good.
All pretty big effects films.
Yeah.
And talking to the kids, like they were a little upset, I think, that Spider-Man didn't win because they're like, that's a great film. It's all those effects. I'm like, that's true. But the difference is like you watch Spider-Man: No Way Home, which is now available on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it again, for purchase on Amazon Prime. There are moments in that film where you're like, that looks CGI. Like that's like when you see when one of the Spider-Man like flipping over, you're like, that is very obviously a CGI thing.
Yeah.
In Dune, I don't see that. Like you don't see the difference between the live and the CGI.
Yeah, or a guy hanging just about to get eaten by a worm.
Yeah, everything looked real. I mean, even the worms that are completely fake CGI, the sand that moves around them, that's all digitally created.
So Dune 1? Dune 1.
Yeah, Dune 1. Yeah. Dune 1. And I'm telling the kids, I'm like, that's the reason, is because your eye cannot pick up those subtle differences where you're like, that's fake.
I remember being in their shoes because my mom would force me to watch the Oscars, and I'd watch a little bit. And I remember one time Aliens came up for best special effects, and I was like, oh my God, yes. It didn't win. And I remember going, what? That's a great movie. How is it not win? And I didn't understand it the way I understand it now. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So what's a good movie? And we're going to transition a little bit here. What's a good or a movie that I'm going to have to watch probably on multiple rewatches is The Batman.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of stuff in there that could be an Easter egg or could connect a dot quicker than the next play around, or I didn't notice that. Or yeah, I think that's one of those heavy ones.
I've seen it twice in the theater, and you're absolutely right. The second time I was picking up more stuff than I did the first time.
Yeah. I think that movie's very layered. And I've come to an understanding with myself about it because I remember we talked about it, we reviewed it, and I came across not really into it. And I think it's because when I walked out of that movie, I was expecting to be like, I'm Batman. Yeah. And you don't walk out of there like that for this one. But what dropped down this week was a deleted scene of what's the actor? Remember his name? Barry something?
Barry name is something Irish that I can't remember off the top of my head. I will look it up.
There is a 5-minute clip out there, guys. It's on YouTube. It's a deleted scene of the Batman where the Batman goes to Arkham and basically asks the Joker. We're guessing it's the Joker. They don't really ever say it, but the way he's acting, the way he looks,
it's totally the Joker.
It's totally Joker. Okay.
Yeah. It's Barry Keoghan. I think
Keoghan?
he's from Dublin, Ireland. Yeah. He's 29. Wow, he's older than I thought.
Yeah. Batman's basically doing the whole Silence of the Lambs thing. Look at the file, check it out, tell me what you think. And there's this playoff, which I don't know. Since you've seen it twice, should they have left that in there? Should they have put that in there? Should they have not? Okay.
Nope. I'm very happy they cut it out.
Why?
Okay, so one, we're dealing with a year 2 Batman. Like
Okay.
he's been Batman for 2 years, which means
Yes.
that he's busted the Joker either recently or within the past year. So right away I'm like, let's not bring that storyline in right away.
Okay.
The other thing is, I like the relationship they set up, the Claire Starling, Hannibal Lecter, and that idea that Batman, he's kind of stumped. Like he needs advice, and he's going to get advice from a very smart psychopath.
Yeah.
And say, what's your take on this guy?
Right.
And the Joker kind of gives it to him. He looks through the file and he says that. So one, I think it's way too early to bring in the Joker. Everybody knows he exists in the Batman universe. They're kind of waiting for him to come up again. The fact that I didn't even like really that they put him in the very tail end of the theatrical version that was screened.
I agree.
Where it's very obviously the Joker. That it's too soon. It's been done. I mean, Batman's rogue gallery, is vast. He's got a lot of enemies that you can bring in.
So hang on. So before we go any further about this, because that was my tail end of the next question was, do we need it? But so I guess what I'm saying is I'm with you. I'm with you on all of this. The only reason you didn't want that in that movie was because you didn't want the Joker to subtract from the story, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And it didn't really fit. Like,
right.
Batman.
Well, I thought it fit if he didn't know where to go.
If you're watching that movie and you're watching the Riddler kill off these members of City Hall. And you see Batman struggling, and he's talking to Alfred, and he's already had a conversation with the Penguin. For him to then go to the Joker, it totally subtracts from the movie being about the Riddler mystery. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's the Joker. Well, when did he bust the Joker? When did the Joker happen? How did that? You're thinking about that rather than being present in the whole mystery around the Riddler.
Okay, gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. That makes sense. Okay. My next question was, and for the sequel of the Batman, should it be the Joker?
No,
I don't think so.
No, it shouldn't. That has been done, and
a lot actually.
You're already inviting a whole lot of comparisons to previous Batman films,
right?
Because of it's a Batman film, and we've got a couple of them now at least. 3. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have seven Batman films. 8,
not including the sequel. Or are you including the sequels? Yes.
No, 8 including the 1960s version with Adam West and Burt Ward. So you're inviting all of these comparisons of the other Batman films or the other Jokers at least.
Right.
And because we've got Jack Nicholson, we've got Heath Ledger.
No, go back to Caesar.
Caesar Romero.
Yeah, Romero.
Caesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, and Joaquin Phoenix. And then Mark Hamill, because people are always going to bring in Mark Hamill. So you have 5 Jokers already on film, and those are they're big screen release. Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, great film. And you're just people are just going to be going, well, who's the better Joker? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And I'm like, let's not do that.
Right.
Let's do a Batman film. Like, if you need to bring Joker in, bring him in. If you get to a 3rd film, if you get to a 4th film, whatever, or not at all.
Like, I agree with not at all.
Not seeing it.
Me too. I think the Joker is played out. I think it's right now. It is. I get it, guys. He is a great arch nemesis. He's a great villain. He's probably him and Darth Vader are the two. Like, if you go around the world and ask who's the Joker, they would know. Who's Darth Vader, they would know.
But they don't. I don't know. The Joker's been done many different styles, and the
Correct, yes.
style that they're looking at for this one is a very dark style. I
Yeah.
mean,
What do you think? He got dropped in a chemical bath? Is that what
No.
that is? That's what all the burns are and shit?
No.
Oh, what?
I think we're looking at the Joker that cut off his own face.
Cut off his own face. Okay.
Yeah, which is a storyline in the
Yes,
comics.
it is.
You can check
It's
that
a
out.
great one. It's a great one. I enjoy the art.
I think that's the Joker we're dealing with here.
Okay.
And that's why his face is all scarred. So I don't think they're, in this realistic type of Batman film, I don't think we're going to see him being dropped in a vat of chemicals and then that bleaches his skin.
Okay.
The Jack Napier story, I don't think we're going to see that.
Okay.
And I think it's more psychotic.
Okay.
And dark.
Well, I'm sure it is. It's probably going to be really dark where no one wins type thing. Yeah.
I would say, like, if it's a trilogy, and because Hollywood often
loves trilogies.
So, working in the rule of three. I think you bring in, maybe in the second film, you can have that scene where show us a little bit about the Joker and that he's in there and that Batman put him in there and that he is a psychotic genius and can give some insight. That's one way to do it. And then in the third film is the escape. That's the Hannibal Lecter escape.
Okay.
Where the Joker gets out of Arkham.
Right.
And then end it. Like, just.
Yeah. I'm on the other side of don't even bring him in. Like, don't do it. Like, I've seen enough Jokers, and you're right. It's going to become this debate, and I feel bad for any actor that tries to continuously give us a new Joker.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, damn, man.
Oh, Patrick Wanahan. I totally forgot. He did the Joker in Gotham, the series.
Yes.
And he played like 4 versions of the Joker.
Yes, he did. Yeah. He did really good.
So again, it's overdone. I mean,
it's overdone.
We've talked about it. Do the Court of Owls.
Court of Owls.
Do Hush. I mean, if you
I would love Hush. Hush would make sense in this universe. He would fit in a lot easier.
You can make that work. I've heard of people that say Azrael could work if you made him a villain. That's a religiously motivated serial killer.
Yeah.
And, working to cleanse Gotham of its darkness kind of thing. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of different things, but they still got the Penguin out there, which could very much work.
Yeah. Or the Penguin hires an assassin, like maybe not Deathstroke, but I'd like to see who's her name? The best martial artist in the DC universe. What's her name? Lady Shiva. I think she'd be fun. I think she'd be a good one. There's a lot of even Clayface. Like, and maybe you don't need to make it another detective, go from being a detective in the Riddler to now he has to take on a badass like Bane to now like the next one is, I don't know, just don't have a shark attack. But I think you're looking at, in this style of Batman film, you're looking at a serial killer story. I mean, you're like, that's what you're looking for. Because that's what we got on the Riddler. I think if you did Bane, I mean, it's not taking drugs to get juiced up kind of Bane. Like, you got to remove that superhero element out of it. So if you did Clayface, that's someone who is that's the movie makeup guy using masks to commit murders. And then you've got to find them then. No, I think you could make that a monster movie. I think you're missing my point. What I'm saying is, don't make it. Maybe it seems like you want to keep him in this universe without expanding this universe. Like, Batman's many things. He's a detective. He's a superhero. He's that sounds like that's about it.
I don't want superhero Batman.
You don't want superhero.
Not at all.
So you don't want him taking on, like, you could make Clayface like some strange monster.
Nope. Don't want
you want him just hunting down serial killers.
I want the Sherlock Holmes Batman. That's what
Okay.
I want, which is what I feel we got in the Batman. I don't want him crossing over into the Nolan verse. I don't want to see him with Superman.
Oh no, I didn't say I wanted to see him with Superman. I'm not saying
but
let's
if
build that.
we're looking at those kind of super villain, I don't want anything super about this.
So you would take everybody that is even super powered and not make them super powered in this universe.
Nope.
You wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't. No.
Well, I'm confused. Maybe I misspoke. You're saying, okay. What you're saying is you would take Clayface as he is now, but I'm sorry, you wouldn't take Clayface as he is now. You would take him as the special effects guy that puts on different makeup to kill people. Okay.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
The Killer Croc is not a big crocodile, man. Nope.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm not. What I'm saying is, shows Batman's. You just want to keep him as a detective. I'm saying you can like he's a detective in this situation. And in this situation, he's just stopping crime. And in this situation, that's what I mean. Like taking out the Penguin could be the next one. Or I mean, the Court of Owls, that wouldn't be much of a detective unless he's trying to figure out why they're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, him uncovering that Illuminati style underground, like the power behind the power, would be.
I guess that could be detective.
Would be that would be the crux behind. And then you're getting more because they delve into the history of Gotham a little bit with the Arkhams and the Waynes and they didn't bring in the Canes, which they certainly could. Yeah, I think there's pieces there that lend itself to a good dark detective story.
Okay, is what it is. What do you guys think out there? What's the next villain you guys want to see in the Batman 2?
Yeah.
Do you want to see the Joker? Is he played out? Do you agree with the Greg and I? Should you start? Or yeah, he's played out. That's a good way to say it. Or do you want to see like Bane, maybe Catwoman again, maybe the Court of Owls, which is that has my vote. I want Court of Owls.
And are you getting sick of Batman films? I think is also a question of, do you need another Batman film, or are you good with, you know what? Let's go 10 years without a Batman film.
Oh, I could easily go another. I could. Are you there in that boat?
No, because I really liked this kind of fresh take on it.
Okay.
I would like to see them kind of tie up this particular Batman. The Battinson is what I've heard it pronounced or seen. Finished up his arc with 2 or 3 movies, and then take a beat and not do Batman anymore.
Yeah. All right. I say I could go 10 years without it again. It's fine with me. I wish somebody would give us a really good Superman. I really wish someone would. But I'm sure that's down the pipe somewhere. Moving on. Are you getting excited about Moon Knight?
I am.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too.
I saw a new trailer today that makes me get more excited. That's next week.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Next week. Yep.
Yeah. Hump day. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll talk about that next week. Of course, we only get 1 hour, if that.
Oh, you're right.
Of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're gonna give us a sneak peek, or are you gonna give us a
I'm gonna give you a rundown of Morbius. Yeah. It's early reviews are not kind.
No, they're not. In fact, I wanted to talk to you about that, but I thought we'd talk. No, I'll talk to you about it now. So I want you to connect a dot for me here.
Okay.
All right. You, I think, hated Black Widow before you even saw it because they kept delaying it. But you keep.
That didn't play into my thoughts on the film.
No. Okay. Are you sure? It seemed like that did, or it seemed like that. Okay, that had a percentage.
No,
Did I say that had a percentage in
okay. There was like going into the film.
Yes.
I didn't have any preconceived notions about whether I was going to like it or not based on the delay.
Okay.
That didn't bother me. When I came out of the film and said they delayed that for what? A year and a half, 2 years. I don't think it was 2 years, but it was like a year and a half. And I was like, we waited for that piece of crap. I mean, and that was my overall reaction. I was like,
I think it was so good. Did you like it better than the internals?
No,
You like that one better than Black Widow?
I did.
Wow. I don't agree with you. I don't think the other one was bad, though. A lot of people said it sucks as a Marvel movie. I didn't think either sucked. I thought they were fine.
Well, yeah. No, I wasn't. I liked the fresh take with the Eternals, and Black Widow was an unneeded film.
Okay. You could say that about the majority of them.
Like what? I mean, a lot of the Marvel films do push a narrative forward. There was no pushing of a narrative with.
Oh, no. I think that was like a hey, people really like. To me, it was almost like a send off.
I think it was more like a contractual obligation.
Okay, that's fine. But I've seen worse contractual obligation for movies. I've seen worse.
Sure, yeah,
but okay. Going back to what I was trying to connect a dot with, you're really into you've been like foaming at the mouth. It seems for Morbius.
I think it again,
and they keep delaying it.
Correct.
And okay.
And they're not delaying it and then like reshooting stuff or reworking anything. It's just like we don't think the market's right. We're going to delay it. We don't think the market's right. We're going to delay it. I mean, it was supposed to come out in January. Why they delayed it from January to end of March, beginning of April? I don't know.
I think I do. That was COVID. People were still freaking out because the Omicron.
Oh, that's right.
Everybody got fucking sick.
That's right. There was that piece.
And I think that's what scared them.
But now I think they're going to regret it. Like if it's as bad as what some of the reviewers, and again, I'm just reading headlines. I'm not reading a full review. People are going to be kind of where I am with Black Widow. We waited 2.5 years for this. That's where I think people might be.
I see. Okay.
Because at least Black Widow was a full-on Marvel film.
Right.
Like it had the luxury of being in the Disneyverse Marvel, where this is Sony.
Yeah. Do you feel that Morbius is the majority of people that are going to go watch Morbius because they want to see how it connects to the Spider-Verse? Do you think that's the majority of what's going on?
No, I think the majority of people that are going to go see Morbius think that, it's a Marvel film. Like there's going to be mentions to Iron Man and Cap. And
no, I don't think people think that. You really think that?
I think the general public does. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think they do. I think they've known by now Sony versus the nerds.
Marvel. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. Like they haven't done the separation between Spider-Man verse and Marvel. Yeah.
What do you think of Madam Web coming out?
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that either. I don't know how you're going to make that good. Wasn't that compelling of a character.
Well, in the comics, she's ancient.
Yes.
Like she is an old lady that sits on a web chair and predicts the future.
Yep.
So get ready for a big rewrite. It's what it comes down to of how you're going to make that.
My only thought is they're going to connect her, and that's how they're going to open the Spider-Verse. Is she's the one that's connecting the webs or something like that? It's going to have to be something like that. Yeah, has to be, because I don't think it's that interesting.
No, I again, it's Sony saying we own the Spider characters.
Yeah, and we're going to keep pumping them out,
and we're going to go through every Spider character that's available and make a move. You're going to see the Puma come out. I guarantee it.
The Puma.
Oh yeah.
Who's the Puma?
You don't remember the Puma?
I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I don't remember the Puma.
Yeah, he like a Native American guy that can change himself into a were-puma.
Really?
Yeah. Don't you remember that it was like in the late 60s throughout the 70s Spider-Man comics, like every villain was like an animal-based villain.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, this is a pretty cool picture of him, but that's the Puma.
Yeah.
I've never seen this guy, which is that's funny to me because I've always thought of myself as a pretty up-to-date guy on Spider-Man. Yeah. Oh, it was during McFarlane's run.
No, he was way before that.
Okay. Yeah.
But
no, never Wow.
But even the artwork you just looked up is pretty new. Like that's not that's not my mental picture of the Puma.
So you think they're doing Puma?
I think they're going to start again. They're going through the cast of characters in Spider-Man and saying, "Who do we do?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Who
you're
do we
definitely right.
who do we keep a bad guy? Who do we make an anti-hero?
Yeah,
And who can Spider-Man fight, and who can he not fight?"
yeah. I think you might be right about people confusing Sony and these characters versus Marvel, because Morbius is a pretty important member of the Midnight Suns, isn't he?
The Midnight Suns, the Darkhold, yeah.
Yeah, that's a part. That's a
And Blade is a Marvel property,
right.
so
Now,
I don't think he is not. What I don't
Yeah.
think you're going to see Blade crossover with Morbius. They're not going to
No.
bring him in.
I don't think
They've got Black Knight, they've got Blade, they've got Ghost Rider,
Right.
and I think
Well, now Moon Knight.
they've got
Moon Knight's gonna be in there.
Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, even technically Brother Blood, who is another magic based
Brother Voodoo.
Brother
Blood is DC, I
DC.
believe.
Yeah, Brother Voodoo is Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah, and who's the other guy that I was thinking about? That Werewolf by Night.
And Werewolf by Night. Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna do
and
that.
those are all Marvel properties that they kept.
Okay. Yeah. So walk me through Morbius. He's called the living vampire. What does that mean?
Well, because in the Marvel universe, like regular undead vampires exist, Dracula is still a character.
Yep.
So with Morbius, I don't know how they're going to explain the disease, but he's got like a disease that's killing him, but he's a brilliant like molecular biologist.
Yeah.
And he finds a cure for his illness using like vampire bats as some kind of base. I don't know how they're going to explain
DNA
it.
or however. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to explain it in the
Right.
film, but that's how they're going to explain it. So technically Morbius never died and to become a vampire. He's not dead. He's like a biological vampire, and that
So
it's
more of a
him,
giving
him all of these.
Yeah.
It's like and I always do this when I watch a vampire show. Are they supernatural vampires or are they science-based vampires?
Science-based. Blade was always science-based, right?
Yeah, they turned it into a science-based.
Yeah, with a virus.
Because like it's a virus where it grants them all these abilities, but their blood can't sustain hemoglobin, which is why they need to drink blood.
Yeah. Where was Underworld? Was that
Underworld?
Was that supernatural or science-based?
They kind of made it a little bit of science-based because their research they did.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty supernatural, I think.
Okay. One of the coolest vampires I've ever seen was Marcus.
But the vampires don't, I mean, they don't change into bats. They don't do mist. They don't.
Where?
Like
they don't change into mist.
In Underworld, they don't.
Well, I mean, Marcus turned into a giant, big bat thing. Remember, he had those things that came out.
He was a hybrid.
No, he was like the first. No, he was like the first. Him and his brother. Him and his brother, William and Marcus.
I don't remember all of those films.
Oh, that's all right. Sorry about that. Anyway, I went way off track. You were trying to get to a point. Sorry.
Well, and that's Morbius is a science-based vampire.
Okay, science. Okay, all right. Yep. Yeah, the most I ever got exposure to Morbius was Spider-Man, the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s.
Sure, where he had
these little suction cups.
He had suction cups on his hands.
That's not the character, right?
Well, that's for the Saturday morning version of him. They did,
right, but what I'm saying is that's not the comic book character. He bit people and sucked
he's
their
a
blood,
vampire.
Right?
He's got giant teeth and
okay. Here it was like can't survive without plasma.
Yeah. That was
okay. And that's how he would grab their arm and take their plasma because they couldn't say blood, I guess.
He was like a leech.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, because I remember watching that going, this is kind of a dumb guy.
Yeah. No, I can't remember where I first got introduced to Morbius. Probably just flipping through comic boxes at a local comic shop or something like that. But he was the different kind of vampire, and he did team up with Blade because Blade's like I need to kill you. You're an evil vampire. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm kind of a good guy, but kind of a bad guy because he's still killing people. So that's what he is.
Okay. And you're a fan of him, right? Like the character, the comic book character.
Yeah, ish. I
Okay.
mean, I'm a fan of a good vampire movie. I like Jared Leto as an actor. I think he's done
Poor
some
guy.
really,
If this bombs, he's done with comic books, I think.
I would think so.
Yeah. Like he
I would
gave
think
it
so.
a shot for both Marvel and DC, and that's
Yeah, I mean, and they want to use him because he's a good actor,
yeah, he is.
and he's one of those transformative actors that like
They intimidate me. Like if
Yeah.
I was an actor and I was working with a Jared Leto or a Christian Bale,
yeah,
first off, I'd be nervous around Christian because anything will set him off, I feel. And then with Jared, I'd be like, oh shit, I didn't really go that far.
Yeah.
Like this guy, like he's the type of guy that's like if he plays a boxer that was in an underground prison, like he'd go to prison and box.
Yeah,
He'd be that guy.
He did one. I can't remember who he played. He was a serial killer. Ted Bundy, maybe? No, not Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was good looking.
Zac Efron played Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I can't remember. He did a role where he packed on a ton of weight.
Okay.
Jared Leto did, to being unrecognizable.
Okay.
And any other actor would do that, there would be Oscar buzz around him. And it seemed like it just kind of missed Jared Leto.
Why does that happen with him? Like he also did that for that Dallas 40 Club or something like that, or what was the one?
Yeah, the Dallas
with
Buyers
Matthew.
Club.
Yeah, Dallas Buyers Club. He played like a
guy dying of AIDS.
Yeah, and he like lost a ton of weight for it and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Matthew McConaughey got a best actor for that.
Yeah, and he did. But for some reason, the world just kind of forgets about Jared Leto. Like
Maybe they don't take him serious or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
Good thing. I mean, he's a great actor, and
yeah,
he is also. I like his band quite a bit too. Is it 2 T's in Leto or just one? But it's like, yeah, Hollywood just they're like, yeah, you're good. Do your independent films. That's fine.
Yeah. It's weird.
He's got a new one coming out. We Crashed. It's a Hulu series, and it's all about the WeWork movement or WeWork, and it's like this. I don't know a ton about it. I know there was a documentary about them on Netflix. I think they were like this new age work consultancy or something like that. And it was like a meteoric rise and then fall.
Okay.
So
it's how they fell. Yeah, my Ursula's watching that show of how Uber became Uber.
Okay.
With Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I like that actor.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. I think that's it, man.
Cool. Yeah. We're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. We're getting out of here at 9:37. All right, Greg, take us out, sir.
As you're going through your week, don't be a douche.
Boom. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying podcast out, everybody. Thank you very much. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.